Hi, John Bullard here. Welcome to this lesson on minor triad arpeggio patterns. This lesson is a follow-up to a previous video entitled Major Triad Arpeggio Patterns. I'll put the link for that video in the description. I might suggest that you watch the Major Triad Arpeggio Pattern video before you start this one, as this video is really just a variation on that. In this lesson, we're going to cover minor triad arpeggio patterns. And these patterns are all closed position patterns, so they're movable all over the neck. There's a free PDF of this lesson available for download in the description. All of the patterns that we'll need for this lesson are contained in the G minor arpeggio pattern leading into the C minor arpeggio pattern leading into the F minor arpeggio pattern. I'm going to demonstrate the G minor pattern leading into the C minor pattern, which leads into the F minor pattern. These patterns that we'll be using generally start in one position and then finish that pattern in the next position. For example, starting in G major, we would start 4th string 5th fret with our first note G, but immediately the rest of that pattern is in the next position. So we get, and that's characteristic of all these patterns, is that they start in one position and finish in the next, start in the next and finish in the next. So it's a leapfrogging sort of pattern that we get in these arpeggios. For G minor, we'll start 4th string 5th fret with the index, then go up 2nd finger on the 4th string 8th fret. And then actually this position will do the whole next pattern in this one position with what I call a 4-string roll. So this roll covers all 4 strings and it goes thumb, index, thumb, middle. So far we have. And now we're going to take this D on the 3rd string and we're going to start the next pattern with that. And then we're going to shift to the 2nd finger and get that next position. So far we have. Now we're going to strike this G with the 3rd finger, I guess that is. And we're going to shift again, shift to the index to go to the next position. So far. And we're going to do one more shift up to this final G minor position. And we're going to start with the index on the 3rd string and go up to this high D. So this whole pattern ascending up the G minor arpeggio. So you can see how the pattern generally starts in one position but finishes in the next. And now we're going to turn around and go right back down the same way we came. So to turn around, we're going to do kind of a strange pattern with the right hand. We've just finished by going. So we're going to turn around and go thumb, index, thumb, index, so that we can turn around without hesitation. Thumb, index, thumb, index. When I was ascending, I used my middle finger on the 3rd string at this triad here. But when I'm coming down, I'm going to use these fingers, so it's pinky, middle finger, and ring finger. And that's so that I can be better set up for what's coming next. So going up, I'm actually doing a different fingering than I am when I'm coming down. So coming down is. I'll play the ascending and descending to that point. get down to this 7th position G minor triad, I'm actually doing one of these 4-string rolls in this position. So I'm covering 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th strings. Now to transition from G minor to C minor, I need to play a dominant 7th chord, or a G dominant 7th. So in this case, I'm going to play G, F, D, B natural. So we've gone to G major to play this chord to lead to this chord. So this final position for G minor shifts to G major. Let's take a closer look at this transition. To demonstrate the transition from G minor to C minor, let's first go over this 4-string roll. It's a 4-string backward roll. It's so middle, thumb, index, thumb. The next roll in the transition would be 2 notes on the 2nd string, and then 3rd, 4th. Those transitional rolls together now when we add the closed position chord tones, we get Now to start the C minor, I'm going to do the same thing that I did with G minor, the same pattern, but I'm starting on this 4th string C. Now I need to start heading back down the neck with that roll that leads with the thumb. Thumb, index, thumb, index. And just like in the G minor, when I get to this C minor triad right here, instead of on the way up, I used middle, index, 3rd finger. But coming down, I'm going to use ring, middle, 4th. So when I get to the lowest C minor that we're going to play at the 4th fret, I'm using pinky, index, 3rd finger, and 2nd finger to cover the whole chord. And I'm going to do one of these 4-string rolls backwards. So middle, thumb, index, thumb. So we've come down like this. Again, I'll come all the way down. And for our transition now, I'm going to play a C dominant 7th, which leads into the F minor. To cover the transition from C minor to F minor, we have the same 4-string roll backward to start. Then we have another roll starting on the 2nd string, which ends with 2 notes on the 4th string. So that sounds like this. Now we add our chord tones. Into F. I'll demonstrate the descending C minor, which transitions into F minor. Then we start just like we have before with the same pattern. Now I'll demonstrate playing the whole G minor ascending and descending, transitioning to C minor, ascending, descending, and transitioning into F minor. The one anomaly that we have in this whole series of patterns is when we play A flat minor transitioning to D flat minor or C sharp minor. And so I'll demonstrate that. When we start A flat minor, it's the same pattern ascending and descending as we did with G minor. We get to this position in the A flat minor, we have to make a few changes because of the way the fingerboard is laid out. We can't do the exact same pattern. We're doing one of those 4-string rolls backwards. So middle, thumb, index, thumb. Middle, thumb, index, thumb. And then we're going to continue that backwards roll on the second string with the middle finger. But we're going to slide down to the first fret to get that E flat. So descending on this A flat. So we've, just to clarify, 4-string backward roll. Now we can do our transitional A flat 7 chord. So coming down the A flat minor. And of course, the way the banjo is, we don't have a low D flat because our 4th string is D. So when we get down to this A flat 7, we're going to come up and catch the 2nd string, 2nd fret for our D flat to start ascending. So we actually have to raise that starting note up an octave. So we sort of jump the octave for the first note of the D flat, which is also C sharp minor. So coming down. Once we hit this D flat or C sharp on the 2nd string, 2nd fret, we immediately revert back to our previous pattern on the 4th string. So we've really only effectively played this one note up an octave, then we go back. So it would sound like. And continuing on up with that pattern. Hope you enjoyed this video on minor triad arpeggios. I might suggest playing through all 12 keys of the major triad arpeggios in the patterns described, and then move into the minor arpeggio patterns. That way you can play through all 12 major keys and all 12 minor keys with the same arpeggio pattern covering the entire fingerboard. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.